And welcome back to our podcast.
Hello, everybody.
To not margin of error this time around, unfortunately. Actually, that was a cool name.
Yeah, sure, we debated it, sure, whatever.
But it was put to a vote, because, you know, we run a democratic podcast.
Sure, it's democratic.
And we are now a little less wrong.
Different names, same philosophy still.
Same philosophy and same hosts. I'm Dikamzi and
I'm Ugo.
And we are back again with our second episode. We'll just get right into it. So on this topic, we want to touch on a subject that is, like Ugo would say, the glue of society.
Very touchy subject.
Touchy subject, and I know a lot of people here, at one point in our lives, we've gone through several things that required us to need people, to trust people. And some of us have had very good experiences.
And some of us have had heartbreaks. So,
breakfast, like it said in certain regions of the world.
Everybody chop on.
Chop breakfast, last. But anyways, excuse my vernacular. We're talking about trust. Now, trust is something that is hard to define, to be honest, because in one instance, we feel like we have a rock or a foundation that we can stand on. And the next, after one inaction, or someone's perception,
it's just gone.
It's gone. Like now you don't even know if all you had was trust in the first place. So it feels very elusive, Ugo.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I mean, honestly, there are so many views of trust because it's like, okay, is it a feeling? Is it like just actions? Like what exactly is it? And that many people have had like different discussions about it over the years. Like if you check a dictionary, it describes it as a firm belief in the reliability or ability of something. Aristotle said it's a virtue, and as a virtue, he even came to add a caveat that, like, you know, in Aristotle's view, everything is a balance between two extremes. So it's like, you shouldn't be too truthful, because if you told the truth to everybody about everything, you probably might not have friends. And if you lied about everything too, like, eventually you get caught. So in his own view, trust was something that, like, you know when to tell the truth if it will benefit, and you know when to lie to someone if it will benefit them. Socrates believed that honesty was necessary in building a functioning community. And there's this philosopher, more recent, Annette Bayer. She actually had a new and interesting take on trust. And basically, she brought out the distinction between reliability of something and trusting something. So reliance is that you believe it's going to work, right? You can rely. Can you rely that this chair will be able to carry your weight when you sit on it?
Okay.
But trust is more of like, you are giving something to someone else that you value, that like if it went wrong, it would hurt you. It involves that component of vulnerability. Like, I trust my teacher to take care of my child, and not, molest them. Sorry, but that was a bit extreme. That was a bit extreme. But the point is that trust, because I care about the teacher. I care about my child, not the teacher. And I don't want anything to happen. That's precious to me.
Yeah.
So for me to entrust them to you, I believe you have the capability and the good intentions. She even went to further distinguish between the morality of trust, like when is it moral to trust, and basically the morality of trust in that, like, for example, a patient-doctor relationship. When the patient goes to see the doctor, because they are the authority, right?
Yeah.
They are supposed to trust that they have the best intention for them. But if the person, for example, is just treating you, not because they want you to feel better or get better, but they're trying to sell you something, right?
Right.
That trust has been betrayed, even if both parties don't know. So she introduced the aspect of transparency and disclosure, right? If both parties were honest about 100% about what they were doing, would both of them be mutually benefited, or is it for the gain of one person versus the other? So there can be, that's basically the basis of misplaced trust. right? But trust has that component of that person that I'm in that interaction with also has the best intentions for me and not just wants to gain from me. It's a win-win. So yeah, those are some philosophical basis and discussions about trust.
But like that sounds risky. Yes, now you're having vulnerability to be able to meet some needs, to be able to get some things done in society, to be able to have your children trained by teachers. You need to trust that, you know. But then this aspect of vulnerability, how is it that we can shed that part of ourselves or shed the fear of that happening easily? What is the component of trust that makes it easy or less risky for us to give out that vulnerability?
Ooh, so that means we're going back to childhood, because they are basically, in psychology and biology, we are born vulnerable. We are born in a world where it's risky to be alive, honestly.
So inherently,
living life means taking risks. Now, it means if you're in a good environment, you take good risks, not bad risks.
sure.
But like, there's nothing, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's by the grace of God, you know, if you believe in God. But inherently, living life is subtly risky. But because if you were born in a stable environment, you had caretakers that could help you, you internalize a sense of safety, which makes you believe like, oh, I have a good sense of trust. Like, oh, if I need something, I can reach out to this person. Or when you've gotten more capable as you got older, it's like I can handle it myself.
But that is kind of mask the vulnerabilities that you've given up.
A little bit, but we still need each other.
No, I mean, think about it, because like, if I'm in a stable home, it means I have expectations.
Okay.
And those expectations, to someone who probably, unfortunately, didn't grow up in a stable home and had to provide for himself, had to, work and do things for his family and, ensure that everything is there. To him, those expectations that the person from the stable family had would be some vulnerabilities he would have to manage in a not so stable home.
So yeah, of course, the need will be there, but they would have responded to it differently. But the thing is that the need is still there.
Essentially, it's a need.
It's a need. You need to be able to trust. You need to be able to connect and attach to people, because if you couldn't,
so the attachment theory comes in, I guess.
Basically what attachment theory states, for people that don't know, is basically that, like, when we're younger, since we're babies and we can't really fight or go to the supermarket to, go and get food, we need our caregivers to respond to our needs, whether it's by crying or throwing a tantrum or whatever. And over time, they help educate us and socialize us so that we'll be able to meet our own needs.
Yeah.
I'll be able to interact well with other people. So there are like three general attachment types. There's a secure type, which is able to receive love because the caretaker was able to, well, it's an interaction between both of them, but the caretaker was able to adequately and appropriately respond to their needs, and they were able to respond back. There was the emotional connection. There's the avoidant type, where the caretaker was either hostile or unable to respond emotionally when the child needed them. So it goes back to what you were saying of like, oh, let's say they grew up in a more volatile home and they're like, damn, oh man, I can't really depend on you guys to feed me. God damn, okay, I'm going to learn how to cook. And then you start becoming a good chef. It's like, okay, it's not that you weren't feeling the stress when you were a kid. You managed to do it. But that's the thing. That's why you see people like that are like really great at a particular craft or skill, and then they find it hard to be vulnerable, find a stable relationship or be married, because when it now comes to actually being vulnerable with someone, right, they're like, oh, I got this, I'm self-sufficient.
That's the avoidant type.
That's the avoidant type, because intimacy to them signals danger, and it's like, I can solve it on my own.
And then that was because of the response to the need they had.
As a kid, I was not adequately or appropriately responded to.
So basically, need is the basic building block of trust.
Yes.
depending on how it was satisfied in childhood, that trust could be shaky or could be an expectation that you just normally have. Maybe not expectation, but could be something you automatically give for somebody who came from a more stable home.
Yes, it's easier to trust, and it's also easier to know when your trust is violated so you can have appropriate responses and say like, okay, yeah, this is not for me. I'm loved at home. I don't need to take this level of treatment. Because if you are, and I'll go back to the last one, which is the anxious attachment type.
Yeah.
That's where your caregivers probably respond to your needs a little bit too much, where like, because they have their own insecurities,
yeah.
they're overcompensating. It's like the
Yes.
helicopter mom that will never let you get hurt. It's like, sometimes you don't need to get hurt. You do need to go out there, explore, you'll be fine. Know that you can take challenges. And then you now become super anxious about like, if the love is really available. But there are also different configurations of the anxious, because like, for example, now, it could be something that the partner also was not emotionally attuned, or your caretaker, sorry, not partner. And instead of like, I'm going to be super dependent and rely on myself, you flip the other way and like, I'm going to fawn, I'm going to try and please this person. So, and that helps, and they respond like, okay, this was a good child, right, or whatever. But it's not like, oh, you know, you now learn that I need to be doing this over time. So you're not scared because you know that they will leave at any time if you stop doing that. So it can happen in different ways, right? But these are just the responses to the need. Because like insecure attachment, right, is unconditional, it's given and taken. Like, it's like, I know you're a kid, I'll help you, I'll respond to you in this way. I'm going to teach you how to respond so that you don't have to, like, it's okay, these are okay.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but good enough parenting.
Good enough, yes.
Versus like, okay, the caretaker's emotional needs are giving baggage to the child, and the child can't respond because it's a child. So these are the coping mechanisms that they first envision for themselves, and it affects them through adulthood unless you go to like therapy or you're aware of it. In fact, you need, because these kinds of wounds need people. That's why people need, one of the reasons why people need people. You can't heal it alone, like thinking about it. You need to experience being hugged and not being abused after you were hugged, for your body to be like, oh, not all hugs are painful. So stuff like that.
I think you touched on something that is, I think is also quite fundamental. I mean, we established that need is like the basic building block of trust.
Yeah.
But how those needs are met would usually shape how a person, or how trusting, or how a person can trust.
Yeah.
There's going to be a caretaker who would in some way consistently meet some of those needs.
Yes, yes. There has to be a consistent track record. Because like, we're not perfect, and once or twice, you know, you get mad, but if you apologize, it's fine. Because repair is a really important thing, and because we all have our own issues. Some days we'll get down, some days we're better, we feel better. But like, yeah, the consistency and the ability to attune and repair.
So there it is, right? So really, I mean, need is like the basic building block, but the thing that seals and makes your ability to trust is the consistency, or the treatment you received consistently based on that need you had.
Yes.
Something Dr. Henry Cloud said about how babies grow up, and it actually affects how our attachment styles are formed too. As a child, you know, mom, as a newborn baby, your world is mother or your caretaker, and caretaker is your entire world. If caretaker is not there, the world ceases to exist.
Yeah, actually, it's existential at that point. It's like, how would I eat?
Oh my God,
Right.
like the world is freaking ending, right? But then as you grow, you understand that there is mom and me.
Separation of identity, right?
Exactly. Mom and me are separate. And which is where babies who would cry when their caretakers, you know, leave, now all of a sudden they're on their own, they're doing their own thing, probably playing with their hands, or, you know, and they're observing that, okay, there's me, there's mom, or caretaker. And over time, there's an addition, there's a world. There is me, there's a world around me, and there is mother. So like the world starts to expand as they grow in, and then they believe in that instant that the world is kind to them.
Yes.
So initially it's like there's me,
If they
the
were
world.
if they grew up in a
Exactly.
stable environment.
So this is like the stages of growth, how attachment and your trusting ability is formed, right? To babies, at that point, the world is the safest place they could be.
If their caregivers are safe and stable themselves.
But no matter how stable a home is,
yeah, there'll be some things you have to.
It's like you still get to a point in life where you understand, the world is also hostile.
Yeah.
But before that, they also believe they are the center of their world.
Egocentricity, yes.
It's natural, guys. So, but then it's childish, right? To be egocentrist, because over time, you then realize that there is a world, and this is all based on Dr. Henry Cloud's work in Boundaries. I think you should go read it. I'm just paraphrasing here. But then you realize there's a world, and it's not as, safe and as the best place to be as you thought it was. Yeah. It is hostile. Yeah. And then you realize that you are not the center of it.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. And that realization, I guess that one is a little bit towards the end of the adulting stage. It hits you like a freight train.
Some people have not even learned that lesson as we speak.
It's like when rent is due, oh yeah, you're not the center of the universe, my friend. But anyways, this progression of the discovery of the world has a way it shapes our ability to trust.
Yeah.
So like now you're older, you want to get, like you said, a teacher to train your child. What makes me be able to trust the teacher as an adult, as they are adults too?
So this part, well, there are two things. There's like the intuitive part, like, okay, the environment itself, is this set up to be trustworthy, right? Like in school, are the incentives set up that bad behavior is going to be punished versus, beating and all those things? That's why you need to understand the environment, right? But the second thing I'll say is that, like, personally, I'm more trusting because maybe as a counter, to the culture, like everybody, I believe in the best in people raised in a fairly stable environment. Okay. Got food. So it's like, it's not hard for me.
Stable.
It's not hard for me to trust. But for me, as I got older, different experiences, shopping breakfast, but recently I read this book by Dr. Henry Cloud, Trust, Knowing When to Give It, When to Withhold It, and How to Earn It. And from there, he had like 5 questions that could help you basically assess if someone is trustworthy. I think everyone should read the book. So basically, I'll just say he identified 5 things: understanding, motive, ability, character, and do they have a track record? So understanding, basically, and it goes back, if understanding, do they see you and understand what you care about and what you need? Do they not necessarily do they value what you value, but do they understand what you value, right? So for example, it goes back to that Annette, the philosopher that was talking about trust, in that, like, if you have a doctor and you're going for a doctor-patient relationship and you're going for a checkup, I think we've all been there where, like, a doctor is like on their laptop, then they just type. Okay, hey, what's up? What's your name? Okay, cool. What are the things you said you had? Headache, fever? Okay, yeah, malaria. Okay, cool. Next. In that moment, you don't really feel understood. You're literally just a body and like, okay, yeah, cool. I've saved this patient. Give me my bill. Okay, cool. I'm done. Versus a doctor that sits down, is present with you, or maybe like a priest or someone. Those moments where you feel seen and someone asks you, how are you doing? Okay, what happened to you? Okay, what are the symptoms? Okay, just give me a sec. I'm checking this. Okay, what else? They listen to you. They're taking into account your feelings.
Empathetic.
They're empathetic.
What you're saying through Dr. Henry Cloud's work is before you can trust someone, like, you need to know that that person, first of all, understands, what you're trusting them for, or your motive, even your own motive.
Yes, they need to understand your motive, and they need to like generally, understand your motive.
Yeah.
Yes, or even just understand you. But like, of course, there's context dependence.
Of
Because
course,
like
yes.
in a job necessarily, the tendency of a job is you're just you're a resource to achieve an end. But there's some other workplaces where like, okay, it's factored in that you're a human being. So while like, it's
Ouch. Factored
it's
in is
factored in. It's factored in. Like,
crazy.
but the business is
Oh
not
my
your
God.
home.
Factored in is crazy. Like, it's painful that we have to factor in humanity in a lot of aspects of certain societies. Like, you have to keep reminding yourself that, oh my God, I'm a human being. And also this person's a human being, because the way some systems are designed, it's hard to understand who it was designed for.
I mean, if you want to really know about some of the incentives of business, you can check our capitalism episode. It's the first episode we did. So you can understand mainly the perspective of what business really is for, and maybe some different perspectives on how business could be run. But yeah.
Of course, business satisfies needs, and we understand that, okay, let's say in a workplace, you need to be able to trust your coworkers. But like Ugo was saying, you need your coworkers to understand you, how you work, how you prefer to work, right? So if you don't think somebody understands you, no matter how much you want to trust the person, it is going to be difficult.
Because you're not even on the same footing. There's no communication.
There's no rapport.
There's nothing there. It's
Expectations are cut short.
I mean, there can be expectations. It's just that you wouldn't, like, I can expect you to do your job. I've given you your KPIs. I expect you to do your job. But it's more of, would I say, there's that underlying thing of, if I don't understand, there'll be no good feeling seen, and there'll be little goodwill. Meaning that it's much better, which is why Elon Musk hires passionate people that care about, or could factor in, to why Elon Musk hires people that are passionate about what they want, and
that
like they
understands
have that,
what he wants,
and
his
their
company,
goals
and
align, basically. So it's like, because he pushes them, and he himself is
pushing himself too.
Exactly. So it's like, in that case, both of them align, and mainly they seem to understand themselves to that degree.
So
right?
an understanding basically is the baseline
of, if you want to trust someone, like, can you trust? These are the metrics. Can you trust them? Which is, because it goes back to that Annette's definition of trust, where it's something you care about, and you can be wounded if this goes wrong. So these are really important questions to ask.
So what about naturally closed off people who don't open themselves up?
There is no one that is, and that's probably trauma, but there is no, okay, there are people that are more skeptical.
Okay, maybe not naturally, but I mean, over time conditioned in that sense.
I mean, they trust somebody, they have to. It's just that they keep on trusting the wrong people. And it's like you have to.
And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So it's like you have to open yourself up to a bit of vulnerability too, and then maybe have these tools of like actually asking. Because I feel that in one way or the other, just like it's impossible not to meet people that will harm you in this life, it's impossible to meet people that will not be kind to you. Whether like, because there's another book by
Impossible not to meet people.
Not to meet people that will be kind to you. Like, and there's this book by Rick Hansen and Forrest Hansen. The father is a psychologist, the son is a podcaster. He talks about taking in the good. So for the example of that kind of person that's really, really skeptic.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if you are not fed at all, man, getting Gary at least is something. So the point is, as an adult, it's up to you. You have to open yourself up to vulnerability.
Like you said, Annette Bear's recommendation of vulnerability.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You look for the little moments where people were unconditionally kind to you, or it didn't make sense, or so. It could even be someone told you, oh, your shoes untied. That's a form of kindness. You start off small, and then it gradually builds in trust. That, okay, some people can be trusted. I mean, some people's trusts are so sensitive that, like, okay, small wounds can cause a rupture, but just seeing that and gathering those little evidences helps gradually heal that the world is not always a dangerous place. Then you can now learn about boundaries and other things we can talk about. We will talk about that later on one of our other topics.
I was someone who was a little bit closed off in school. So I had a part of me that I exposed and people knew, but I don't think people really knew the core me. In fact, almost everybody that I met in school, yeah, I went to Covenant University, they would tell me, whoa, is this actually how you are? Are you actually, this bubbly and fun? Because they
They didn't believe it. They're like, this guy is so fake. Oh my
they
Lord.
saw me as this uptight, never not doing anything that is bad kind of. Okay, I don't do bad things, guys.
What's a bad thing?
What's
I
a
don't
bad thing?
understand.
It's relative, I guess. But they saw me as this uptight guy who'd never laughed, who never had fun. But like they come to my room and they're like, "What, bro?
You
This
have
guy
feelings,
playing,
you can laugh. Oh
this guy
wow,
playing
crazy
video
stuff.
games and laughing
my
anyhow."
Lord.
But I felt like people naturally understand me, and I didn't care to really make myself that open or accessible to many people.
You were open to some people though.
I was open to some, but it now really hurt my ability to trust anyone really. Because I'm like, okay, so what do you really want? What are you here for? What are you here for? Like, are you here for, the
Even
me that
question
everyone
of
knows?
For is a crazy thing because like, oh, you could just be here for me, but it's just like, just because you're a human being, I could want to just hang out with you and just actually, the more you even get on society and the higher you climb, the question even becomes more pressing. But you need to also have this checklist.
Motive.
So are they actually for you or just for themselves? That's basically it. And then there are also things that you can do, right? Because someone can only fake for so long. People that tend to be manipulative can only manipulate and keep up with false acts for so long. So, which is why, like, sometimes when you want to make a business deal, right, you hang out with them, maybe 1, 2 more. I've not done a real business deal, but you hang out with them, go to dinner, see how they behave. And then over time, maybe 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, 6 months, it's like, view how they treat people that are lower than them, that they have nothing to gain, right? It's a general characteristic. It's easy if you're the boss. I mean, when you're the boss, everyone's trying to kiss your ass.
No.
Like normally, sorry for the language.
Less vulgar terms.
Sure. But like, it's just natural in that, like, when there's nothing to gain, right? Like people, I hope, actually, I don't know if I hope, but when you work with a toxic boss, like, because they're a boss, they not act like they're Jesus Christ. And it's like, bro, calm down. It's like, but like, do you get me? So it's like, how do they treat people that don't have anything to gain? They don't have anything to gain from. And then, yeah, you get to know more or less what kind of person they are. It's because I think there's also this thing in business called the agent's problem, where like, I don't know if it was you that told me, Kamsi, or another friend of mine, that was like, let's say, for example, you have a financial advisor.
Okay.
You're paying them a cut of like whatever returns you make. Now that sounds like the motives, both of you should be aligned, right? But what if, to be honest, that sounds like both of you should be aligned, but what if they now start taking riskier decisions and bets that in the short term make him money and then increase the amount he takes when the long term is going to crash? Or for example, the CEO that joins a company and is like, yeah, I'll lead this company to greatness. Next year, the company crashes, but because in his contract, it's like, well, if you kick me out, you have to pay me 100 million naira. He doesn't lose either way because he didn't start the company and it just crashed and he did rubbish. So, which is why there's this study. I don't know, I have to fact check this, but which is why it suggests that family-owned businesses have a little more skin in the game. Where like the people on the top care because it's their baby. But it's like, okay, I just came out like, yeah, I say I'll do this for you. But like, man, even if it crashed, man, I'm going to get this crazy compensating package. I'm good. So the motive that they have for you, it's very important, and how they treat people that they don't have anything to gain from.
I think it calls it the Clarence test. How does one treat a person they can extract absolutely zero utility, status, or transaction from? That reveals true motive.
Because it's like, yeah, it's not, is the person kind? Does the person do harm when he can? Like, it's not, because kindness can be faked.
Okay.
Kindness can be faked.
That is a clearer way to view the Clarence test, because it's not what they do to people like, they can't obtain anything from, but is it, do they willfully not care about a person when they can't extract value? That is really what you're looking out for.
Bam. Do they do harm when they can?
So now we've talked about understanding and motive.
Yeah.
Is it still possible to trust someone without those two? So I don't think this person understands me. Their motive is a little bit sketchy. Is it still possible to trust? What other metrics can we use?
So I think they stack, but the next thing, so I actually think it's more of, do they understand me? Are they for me, right? Do they have the ability to actually do what I need them to do?
Bam.
Because it's like, you can be the nicest person, but like if you don't know how to fly a plane, I wouldn't trust you to be my pilot.
Hell
and that's
no.
valid. That's valid. You need
like
to get
you
the training.
can be the nicest, most understanding person, most understanding restaurant owner.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you don't cook good
But
food.
I am not trusting you to take me to Dubai on a plane. I'm sorry.
What if you can fly a plane though? He or she.
Okay, well, if you can fly, you put in your resume, but
Fair enough.
I wouldn't be trusting a French teacher to pilot my plane anytime soon. Like you said, it stacks. And ability seems to be a very strong stack of things that would make me want to trust people on its own.
Yeah.
So
and I think that even relates more to the not personal one, but like how you just function in society, right?
I guess that's also intrinsic because like as babies, we have to believe that
your caretakers have the ability to meet your needs. And if they fail, then you now have to start compensating. But like, yeah.
But this one is a little bit more, I guess, ontological, right? It is because it is or is not. You either have the ability to.
No, I mean, so
you're
someone
not.
can. So it's not like it's a black and white thing, right? But it's like, so for example, if you had a staff member you recently hired and that's what they call a trainee, right? They don't come in knowing stuff. They are learning, they're growing. So that's why like they're high flyers and they're people that, maybe need more time. We're like, okay, this is a high flyer. Therefore, I can now give him the harder tasks to do. I'm like in the work I'm doing, we work with like work streams and stuff.
That should be a little bit more subjective because like you need them to be able to do certain preliminary things before they can do the one thing, but they have to have the motive and other stacks of
before they get
components
to that
before they. But then when we're talking about, like, for example, in this part of the world we are in, you either have money or you don't have money.
Okay.
In the sense of it, whatever sense that means. But if you want to buy a house, right? It's.
So personally, I don't believe it's either you have. I'm more of a growth mindset person where you can always learn and grow.
Of course. But like if you want to get something done financially, say I want to get a car or something, right? Ability is kind of straightforward in that sense, at least in the way I'm thinking about it. It's you either have the ability to get me the car,
or you go and steal the car.
Or you don't. That's an ability. You can get the car.
Sure.
How you get it? Well, it's up to debate if that is legal or illegal.
But you can buy the car too.
But you can provide. So like ability in that sense, wouldn't you say it's more black and white than gray?
I wouldn't say it's more black and because there's different contexts, right? So, and that's why it's like, for example, I have friends that I can talk to that I know they are more empathetic.
Okay.
They're more like I can cry on their shoulder. I have friends that like when I want a strategic decision, I go to meet them because I know that like, sometimes they overlap, but I know my friends that are more emotionally attuned versus the ones that are more strategic and like more very focused. And it's like, that's what ability doesn't just mean the ability to like in a work sense, but it's like per what you need and what you're trying to do. Do they actually have the ability to
capacity, I guess.
And capacity to do what you need need from them at that time. And obviously, it's basically give and take, right? But it's like,
I mean, like you said, that is very situational trust.
bam,
Because if a person may not have the ability now,
doesn't
but
mean that
doesn't
they
mean
need
they're not a trusting
or
like
trustworthy
person.
They can still learn it, but it depends on, okay, do you want to invest in that? And there are other things, like, for example, if I need to go from Lagos to Abuja now, I need a pilot that's gone through the training. I don't need a trainee pilot at that point in time. As a business owner of an airline, that a pilot comes from graduate trainee or goes through the school, I afford him that time because I trust that when it comes time, he'll have the ability, right? So it's situational. A situation, while he's learning, he can help fix this thing or do this other thing. But it's very situational, the ability. The next one is now character. Yeah, do they have integrity when the situation requires it? It's like, and I think this is the one where we most like assign virtue to. Do they do the right thing when the going gets tough? Are they ones to like cheat, steal, or manipulate their way out of a bad situation? Now, to be honest, right, this is that one where they were like, would you like to have an honest pilot? I don't know why I'm using planes too much, but would you like to have a pilot
You're
that
high.
is not, I beg, oh, please.
Please,
My
it's not
parents might
high
believe
for
I'm-
factual
yeah.
sake.
But it's like, would you like to have a pilot that is a bit, bumpy versus like an excellent pilot, but they have bad character? So it goes back to ability, right? So in some cases, someone will take ability over character. But I'll say that those cases are very transactional and short term. So it's like, you need them to execute this thing and they execute it well. You don't really care if they're a good person or they cheat on their wives. It doesn't matter. That's their business. They help deliver this thing. But when you want it to be long-term, like you want someone to take over your company, or we want to know, can I trade with this person? Can I have that business relationship? Character comes in wise. Or like as a leader of a company or a leader in a home or whatever, like do they crumble when pressure comes? Obviously, these things all matter, but it's like, how do they respond when situation gets inconvenient? Would they steal the money when they could, when nobody was looking at them? Or would they be real with you when like, because again, the thing, I always used to wonder why, like, so as a kid, there was this story about the naked emperor where he was kind of like a dictator, and basically he was ruling the people really poorly and was a bit egotistic. So one day, one of the clothes makers decided to play a prank on him and said, this thread is really, really fine. So I'm going to make you the finest dress ever. And he basically didn't make anything. The emperor was naked. So the emperor was now like, oh yeah, this looks amazing, because he was stroking his ego. And then he was now parading himself around the people. And everybody was like, yeah, sure, you look great. You look amazing. Until a child was like, now pointed out, like, why are you naked? And then he now immediately saw that, oh, he was actually naked, and went back and, I don't know if he killed but the moral of the story is that, like, the higher you get to power, the more people will want to lie to you, right?
Sycophancy, like.
Basically. And like, it takes character to be like, although again, in some places that will be punished.
I guess character
Yeah.
in that regard.
And then the track record, that's the final one. Have they actually done it over time? So this one can be built, and it's like, okay, do they consistently lie? Don't trust them.
So basically, a good name is better than...
Yeah, your reputation, basically. But again, that can be gained by like the track record, but they stack. So like, you also need to actually be with them, because someone can have like a great track record. Like, there's something I read somewhere about medicine where, like, if you saw a doctor that only had like, how do I put this? If the guy only has like 20 surgeries, but it's 5 stars. Depending, again, it's context dependent.
Oh, okay.
Versus like, this person has done like 2,000 surgeries, but it's like 4.5
fares. Yeah, I know when I'm shopping, I definitely don't look at anybody that, like, if you have less than the average amount and you have a 5-star, I would definitely take probably a ball which has been rated by over 20,000 people, but it's still like 3.9 because many people cared to try, as opposed to 20 people who could be sycophants, like you say, but it's not enough track record.
You actually now have to meet them. Do they understand you? Motive, are they actually for you? But that one is a bit harder to discern in one short interactions. But the longer term is okay, how do they treat people that they can get nothing from?
Because I know we've been talking about like trust on an individual level, but what does it look like on a systemic societal level? Like we said, understanding motive, ability, character, track record. What does that look like in a society?
It looks like institutions that are accountable, transparent, which goes back to Annette again, really. Like I think she hit the nail. She identified a lot of untrust because it's transparency, right? But I do understand that in some cases, right, secrecy is needed. If you're doing a covert operation to rescue kidnapped children, which goes into trust anyway. It's crazy that kidnapping is a business in the country, but side hustle.
Damn.
Is it a side hustle? I can't even say it's a side hustle.
No,
I think
it's
some people's
it's
children.
sad. It's just painful. It ties into the intrinsic value of human beings.
I was about to make a joke, but it's not funny. Yeah. So in society, you need accountability, you need trust, you need accountability, you need transparency, you need a track record. There needs to be also a good system of punishment and reward, alignment of incentives that are geared more towards the benefits of not just the highest in the society, but also the lowest. So you measure the society, there's this thing called inversion. I got it from a marketer, Rory Sutherland, but it's not him that got it. There was an economist. I think it's Charlie Munger that said, like, instead of looking at what is, flip it and look at what is not. The society shouldn't look at just GDP or how it's growing, I feel. It's like, what's the average what's the average life expectancy of the lowest common denominator? And what's the average life experience of the people that necessarily might not have had anything? Because you need a social net. People can't be thinking about food and thinking that I can build a rocket. It doesn't work. Let the average quality of life of the lowest common denominator make sense.
What does it look like when things go wrong?
I mean, when you think of Nigerians abroad, people think of the Nigerian prince scam. Yahoo boy is a valid profession.
You went there, right in the heart.
I mean,
Okay,
the reputation precedes the country, not
yes,
us. I won't say us.
fairs.
But I think, like, yeah, there's low trust because there's a lot of betrayal from the top to the bottom, and it's I'll say there are pockets of places that respect the individual as a human being that is sacred. If not, most people are measured by their ability to attain wealth and status, and they're celebrated for it.
So
You can't be
we have
vulnerable.
basic needs, whether
Bam.
you're in America, whether you're in Nigeria. But the conditioning, how you were brought up, like we said, how did your caregivers, in this case the government, treat those basic needs over time?
Yeah.
And if you were treated not so great over time, you develop an avoidance, curious. In this case, Nigerians can be very cautious.
Apathy or dissociate from even the concept of being a Nigerian, like, or they'll say, it's your president, you get me? We're not Nigerian, it's just I'm in Nigeria.
Your country.
So people tend to see themselves as humans and, they export themselves as labor to foreign countries that, will treat them better.
So essentially, our trust was broken from early on,
Wow.
and we are basically avoidant to our...
Yep. Which is why we tend to take whatever comes our way and say it will be better. Denial is a crazy thing, and it's also a river.
So a lot of listeners, have gone through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Again, many of our listeners are in low trust environments, like we are in here, Nigeria. a lot of people have individually, felt heartbreaks, felt like nobody could understand them, felt like, everyone has the motive to gain something from them or gain the upper hand. What hope do you have for them to rebuilding the trust?
First of all, I'd say that you have inherent worth. I know it might not feel like it, or experiences might have told you otherwise, but it's a certain level of faith, and the fact that you're still here means that you still care about something, right? So it's like knowing you have worth, you have inherent worth. Whether you go to a church or have a good friend that listens to you or makes you feel seen,
Or a good job,
or a good job or something, you have worth. Just know you have worth, first of all. Like, that's the first thing. Then afterwards, you identify safe and unsafe people, right? People that when you're around them, your energy feels uplifted. You feel like you can do things. It's not that they're kissing you up or they're lying to you, but you feel warm. Like, okay, they'll confront you. They'll tell you, not in a demeaning way that'll tear you down, but they'll tell you, oh, if you ask them to, but if they care, they'll tell you, oh, these are the things you're missing. There's warmth and there's high expectation versus unsafe people where you feel like it's a competition or you feel like you're being torn down or you have to prove yourself or something. If you've never experienced it, it's fine, but there are people like that. Just know. And then try to find people that exude that warmth, right? Then work on your boundaries, which is like controlling the things you can control, and then like letting the other party have what they can control. So things you can control are your attitudes, your actions, and then who you let into your emotional space. So it's like a fence. The people that are safe for you, that understand you, not necessarily validate. I mean, they validate you, but they don't agree with everything
Not
you
just
say.
echo chambers of
Exactly.
your existing
But
reality.
they validate you. They're like, yeah, they'll validate you. They'll understand where you're coming from before they're like, okay, but have you considered this, right? You let them into your space. And the other people that, are not safe, you try to mitigate them as much as possible. Keep them out there or,
Not necessarily out of your life, just not in the inner circle.
Or mitigate the exposure, like reduce how much time you're with them, stuff like that.
Because there are some people who unfortunately,
like your bad boss or something,
or
you
a
might
bad
have to.
father.
Yeah.
So you may not be able to, just exclude yourself. And I don't think if you did that, then if you did that constantly, you start to develop this paranoia of people. So I guess identifying early on, like you said, okay, this person, she makes me feel like I'm worth nothing, or, I'm just like a walking wallet. Like I just care about the money they want. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna relate to this person in this way. You know how we said how people would treat other people when they have
nothing to do.
Nothing. That shows the person understands intrinsic worth.
Yep.
Because that really is intrinsic worth. Why do we gauge how the person acts when there's no value? Because we know deep in our hearts that a person intrinsically
has worth.
And that's a topic that, it's very loaded. We've saved that for our next episode. And we know that a lot of people are going through a lot of like what they're worth, especially people who don't have the dream job or the dream family.
Yeah.
Just know you're worth something.
Yeah.
You are worthy. Not something. You are worthy of being loved. Now we'll go deeper into that episode. Stay tuned. This has been Little Less Wrong.
Yes.
With the Kamzi and Ugo.
Yeah.